Fluoride toothpaste, poison or nutrient? Coming right up. Hey, I'm Dr. Ekberg with Wellness for Life. And if you'd like to truly master health by understanding how the body really works, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss anything. So one of my viewers, Magdalena, asked about fluoride toothpaste. So I thought I would add a little bit of information on that subject. So once upon a time, they introduced a lot of fluoride. They added to the drinking water and they added to toothpaste, believing that it somehow helps to strengthen teeth. And there was like one study early on that said it does strengthen teeth, but then there's been hundreds of studies that try to duplicate and try to find out for sure, and there's never been any conclusive evidence. On the contrary, while there's very few studies that would indicate that there's any benefit, there's several that indicate there are some side effects, some detrimental effects, that it can increase staining and pitting and even cracking of teeth. It can reduce the IQ in children, and it increases the risk for fractures. So there's a lot of reasons to educate yourself a little bit about this. And the one thing that we see in our office primarily is thyroid problems. And what's going on here? Well, fluoride is in the family of halogens. It's on the right side of the periodic table, and it's in the same family as chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So these guys are very related. They look the same. They have the same kind of molecular arrangement, so they have a tendency to displace each other in the body. So while iodine is a nutrient necessary for the thyroid to make thyroid hormone, the other three are neurotoxins. They are not nutrients. They have never been shown to have any essential function in the body. No metabolic pathway ever has been found to depend on the first three. Therefore, they are poisons. And because they look the same though, they have a tendency to displace iodine from the thyroid and make the thyroid more toxic. It also, because they displace iodine, we're more likely to become iodine deficient by being exposed to these three. How did this all get started? Where's this controversy? Where's the beginning? Well, like we said, there was one study that showed some benefit. And then they had an industry of aluminum production and synthetic phosphate fertilizer production that produced a lot of fluoride as a byproduct. So they wanted a place to dump it. And it is illegal to dump it into the ground and into the water because they found it poisoned the cattle and it killed off vegetation. When it's being transported, it's transported with skull and crossbones because it is a poison. But for some reason, they figured that it's a good idea to put it in our drinking water and to put it in toothpaste. So back when this all started, they elicited the help of Edward Bernays, and he's been called the father of public relations. He's been called the father of spin, as in spinning the truth, and the father of propaganda. He wrote a book called Propaganda. And one of his more famous campaigns was called Torches of Freedom, where he convinced women in 1929 to increase smoking because it would help them get equality with the men. So he used the emancipation struggle as an incentive for women to smoke more. And of course it sounds crazy, but it worked, and a lot more women smoked as a result. So he was very good at what he did, and that's why they asked him to help convince people that fluoride in the water was a good idea. So today, as a result, we have it in the drinking water, and we do have it in the toothpaste. So in the drinking water, it's sort of mandatory because wherever you live, if it's there, it's there. With toothpaste, however, you do have a choice because you can buy it with fluoride or without fluoride. And if you stick around a little bit longer, I'm going to give you one piece of advice that's going to blow you away, that is going to make up your mind for sure. In Europe, they have gotten smart about this. So at one point, they were fluoridating the water for most of Europe, but as people learned more and as people became more aware, they gradually banned it country by country until today there's only 3% of Western Europe that has fluoridated water. The number in the US is about 70% at this time. However, even the US have gotten a little bit smarter, because in 2015, for the first time in 50 years, they lowered the level. So now they said 0.7 parts per million would be the maximum limit that was allowed. So it is making some sort of progress even here. But here's the kicker. I want you all after this to go and find a tube of toothpaste. And if you use fluoridated toothpaste, then you want to get out your magnifying glass and look very carefully. In the back, it says the following, and I didn't believe it, so you're not going to believe it unless you go read it. If an amount larger than normally used for brushing is accidentally swallowed, contact Poison Control Center immediately. Does that sound like a nutrient to you? If as tiny amount as a pea, an amount normally used, is accidentally swallowed, contact Poison Control Center immediately. Okay? Go check it out. You won't believe me. I didn't. So as a result, Europe has banned it, and the US is a bit stubborn in that regard. So what you can do is, obviously you can get the toothpaste that has no fluoride, which I'm sure you'll do after this. You can also get a water filter. Unfortunately, chlorine is very easy to remove. Fluorine is very difficult to remove. So while most carbon filters will remove chlorine, very few filters will remove fluoride, and it's very difficult to remove it entirely. It's kind of frustrating that you have to go to great expense just to remove something that the government put there in the first place. You do have to spend a little bit more money, and I would recommend for a lot of people it would probably be worth it to get a house filter, and some of the good ones can remove anywhere from maybe 50 to 70 to 80% of the fluoride in the water. So here's the thing to understand about fluoride. It has never been shown to be a nutrient. There's no agency in the world today that claims that it is a nutrient or that it is part of any essential function or any metabolic activity that's necessary in the body at all, ever. So it is not a nutrient, it is a poison, and do what you can to reduce it. So share this video with other people who would like to get healthy or stay healthy. And if you're new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that we can keep this content coming your way. Thanks for listening.